Hey, what's cracking?
What's going on?
How's everybody doing? Can you hear me?
Doing good. We can hear you.
All right, can't hear me as good as you can hear Robert.
Well, not yet, but I'm about to talk now.
Poor people in other countries can hear Robert.
Hey man, happy pre-holiday weekend. And before anybody thinks I'm being rude, if you watch the show regularly, you know I'm just sharing the show right now. We ask that as you file into the room that you do the same. Oh, wait a minute. I'm messing up. All right.
And you're reverberating too.
And I'm reverberating. I should have stopped now.
You talk. See, that's what God don't like ugly. You talked about Robert's mic.
That's right.
What happened. That's what happens. It's good.
No, that's good.
It's that kind of night for me tonight. It's gonna be that mood today.
I see. No, that was my aura. That was
Jesus, your aura. Okay.
Yeah. Are we without mail tonight?
He's coming later.
Okay. Well, before we kick it off, let's production team share with the viewing audience our wonderful guest for the evening. Kick it.
Dang,
man!
Really?
Wow!
Shut the whole script down,
man.
Y'all shut the whole script down, didn't it?
What in the heck?
Man,
I know I'm not coming on next week. Now I don't have an intro. I ain't,
Man, that's a nice intro, Mike.
Yeah,
I'm feeling some kind of way. I don't have an intro like that. I'm feeling some kind of
feel special.
Coach Mike. Hey man, thanks man for taking some time out, man, and kicking it with us, man, for this hour. We appreciate you doing that. I know you're in Memphis, man. You're in Memphis.
Yes, sir.
Is that are you there doing some work, or is that where you from? What's cracking?
Man, yeah, born and raised. Yes, sir. I lived in Atlanta for quite some time, but man, I came back home for sure. Came back home to do the work.
Okay.
Man, when I heard you're a Memphis boy, I didn't as Glenn is, I did not hold that against you. Because
you just can't stop it. That's all.
Because I got ties to Memphis, man. My family is from about 90 miles north in a little town called Milan, Tennessee.
Know exactly where Milan is.
Yeah, man. I got family there now. I'm usually there a time or two every year. Both my parents are buried there. I got family in Humboldt, Jackson, Gibson County, all of that, But I have family in Memphis too. I got cousins and nephews that do some things on the music side, man, with City Mix Band, Justin Cole and Jalen Harris. Yeah, man, I got deep ties, man, to Memphis. The Burchett family, Barksdale's. It's a whole lot of my people down there. So,
yes,
yeah,
sir.
man, thanks for being here.
Yes, sir. You got ties to Memphis. You got ties to me, man. You good with me.
Well, there it is. Hey, man, take about 30 seconds or a minute, man. Shut up, man. Take about 30 seconds or a minute, man, and tell us a little bit more about you than the intro, how you came to be on the show, and that kind of thing.
Okay, bet, man. 30 seconds. I'm a talker. I don't know how I can do it in 30
45. Take 45. I'm gonna use my executive privilege and give you 45.
Hey, give me 47. Give me 47.
48 because your ass so nice.
Man, Mike Mosby is my name, man. My friends call me Mike Mosby. My family called me Mike Mosby. My mom called me Michael Lawrence. That's my middle name. Man, I got a wife, amazing wife. She's on y'all live right now. Shout out to my wife.
Hey, wifey.
Yep, we see her.
Man,
She just shouted you out, Mike.
Yeah, Shantae, I see her.
Yes, sir. A father of 4, man. Out of the 4, man, one is an angel baby of ours. Nonprofit founder. Man, Raise the Bar Community Development. BAR is the acronym for behavior, attitude, and responsibility. That's my baby. That's my heart. Man, I'm a musician, professional musician. Man, I do a lot in the community. I'm a high school head football coach, entertainment director, and music director for a lot of major events that come out of Memphis. One that's happening starting, man, in less than 13 hours, actually. The annual Beale Street Cigar Festival. Man, really, man, I'm a dude, man, who just go and get it, man. Who go and get it, man. My nickname growing up was Go Ahead. That means a lot of different things, but we just gonna say, man, we go and get it. Man, I'm just.
And as long as your nickname wasn't Go Ahead, Mohead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Some people used to say goat head, but I ain't mad at goats, but I'll take Go Ahead for sure.
Goats ain't done nothing to you, huh? How did you end up on the show, Mike? Who did you know? Who connected you?
Man, I've been on a Clubhouse app. I got on Clubhouse like December or something like that. My homie told me, Mike, you need to get on Clubhouse, bro. Tell you gonna make connections. You're a talker. And folks need to know your story. They need to hear you. You're gonna fire people up every time you jump on that joint. And man, so I just show up on Clubhouse the way I do. I met Glenn. I've been in a room with Rob right there, man. This is my first time seeing them face to face. But man, I've been on Clubhouse and just going for it, man, dropping gems. I've been in rooms, man, especially like empowerment rooms. Man, it's good to see Black brothers doing, man, things to edify, man, the universe and the communities that we in for sure. So, man, Glenn been trying to get me on the show, man, they've been trying for about 2-3 months now. And
yeah, I was recruiting him like Penny Hardaway been recruiting in class.
I'm available this Thursday tonight. We here, so that's just how we got here.
Man, I
recruited Coach Mike like Penny Hardaway recruited that #1 recruiting class for the Tigers this year, baby. Number one in the nation.
Well, he here now, so you get no credit for him. He belongs.
No. I always recruit the blue chipper, Sean. You the only exception.
No, he belongs to us all, Glenn. He belongs to us all.
You had that one dude that you need on the team because you want his boy, like to give him a scholarship too. Well, you know, we recruited Mel, and we was like, well, okay, you can bring Sean too. He can get scholarship too.
Hey man, we got a whole lot to talk about, man. And Big Mike, I don't know how familiar you are with Chicago sports, but the first thing I want to touch is an aspect of Chicago sports. You may have heard, we got this new quarterback we just drafted. A lot of buzz around him, Justin Fields. I think he was drafted. We got him 5th. I think he was the 5th person to go all together. But at any rate, he's a Black quarterback. Chicago has notoriously not really advocated for a Black quarterback. And shout out to my high school buddy, Mark Chin, who doesn't know I'm shouting him out. But he posted this. I got old eyes, Coach Mike, so I got to take my glasses off. But he posted this, and I wanted to get your take on it. I shared this with some other people. They had some different opinions about it. Didn't necessarily think it was valid, but here it goes. It says, some things don't change much. The narrative is still there, but subtle. It shows a picture of Justin Fields, Mac Jones, Trey Lance, Trevor Lawrence, and Zach Wilson, if you know who those guys are. All first-round quarterbacks drafted. Trey and Justin are brothers. When I say brothers, I mean soul brothers. Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence, and Zach Wilson are all of a Caucasian hue. And so it continues to read, the Patriots shockingly cut Cam Newton today and named the rookie Mac Jones the starter. The keys to the Jeep were handed directly to Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson to be the #1 quarterback. They've been anointed as ready from day one because they supposedly have advanced football minds. On the other hand, Justin Fields and Trey Lance are considered more athletic, raw, undisciplined, and would benefit from sitting and watching and learning from inferior quarterbacks. It goes on to say more, but that's basically the culture. So there is this belief that no matter how talented the Black quarterback is, he's still going to be considered more an athlete. He's raw. He's undisciplined. He's got to be pruned and tweaked. Where these white guys coming into the league are from the same pedigree, but they're given the keys to the castle right away. And so some people think there's a legitimacy to having Justin Fields wait based on the fact that the Bears offensive line stinks and we want to protect him because that will create some bad habits in him if he starts out running. But what do you think? Do you think, I'm going to hit you first, do you think that there exists that in the NFL where, you know, the brothers are still getting shirked in that way, and so these guys are being put on the sidelines while the white boys get the keys to the match?
Man, well, let me start off by turning my head this way so y'all can see that 49er right there.
Oh, well then let's get it. Okay.
See the 90. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna reference that question to the fact that we got a black quarterback that I feel is overqualified for the starting position right now. I actually met back in June one of the newly signed. He was traded to the Niners, black guy, and we was just having a sidebar conversation. I said, man, let me tell you something. I said, man, y'all need to tell them to call me because I need to tell them what moves they need to make. Because, man,
you sound like my brother, man.
We know the NFL is a big business, but, man, it's a big business that's built off black people's talent, you know? And I said people's, I'm so country too. So,
that's all right, man. That's all right.
It's built off black people's talent. And honestly, man, that narrative is true though. Like it's subliminal in a lot of ways. At the same time, it's like you want, man. I was telling somebody this today. We're expecting somebody to be the great white hope. At the end of the day, man, we don't get hope from that side of the ball, right? The only thing we get is rope. They want to try to hang us, man, figurative and spirit and literally, right? So, man, we don't get the opportunity to be showcased as needed, man, as black men, especially, man. We know that the talent is the talent, and man, it's sad that these guys coming in. And I remember after the draft, I was just going through the first round. I was like, man, dang, it was like 20-something black people drafted in the first round. Let's make a big deal out of that. Ain't number 30 teams and 20-something black people drafted alone. But with the black quarterbacks, man, the quarterback is very notable position in the NFL. It's also a postal position in the NFL. And right now, I do feel like, man, in certain situations, they don't want the poster child to be a black man, man. And
here's the other aspect of it before I let Rob and Glenn jump in. You know, the quarterback is a thinking man's position, and so they're always trying to undercut the mental capacity of the black athlete. He's always just the jock, the dumb jock. You know, he can run and jump and pass. And in actuality, that's ridiculous to even try to push, because the schemes and stuff that professional football requires, you have to have a great level of intelligence, or at least football acumen, to be able to do it. Now, you might not be able to speak the King's English to the Queen's taste, but you cannot be a dummy and play in the NFL. Glenn, give me some of your thoughts. And before you chime in, I want to say Big Mike coined it here first. We won't hope, and all they give us is rope. But you go ahead.
So I'm not surprised that that's the norm, and that those players are being held back. I mean, just recently, race norming was just ended by the NFL, which basically, if you don't know what that is, that's just assuming of lower cognitive abilities in black players versus white players.
I never heard that term, race norming.
Race norming. If you look it up, you'll see they just lifted that race norming rule, because basically what they were saying is a number of black former professional players have been speaking out against the practice, and it was interfering with their ability, the former players, to receive compensation and benefits and settlements, like concussion settlements and things like that. Because basically they were saying your cognitive ability was lower than the average non-black player. Therefore, we'll give you less money because you weren't going to be as smart as that person anyway. So I'm not surprised. They just stopped that. So I'm not surprised, because that attitude, and there's a great documentary which talks about black quarterbacks. And it talks about Donovan McNabb. It talks about Michael Vick. It talks about Joe Harris, who's one of the first black starters, and a few others that I can't remember now. But let's look at the facts. Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Cam Newton a few years ago was MVP. So at some point, you're going to say, I need my best player in that position. And if you want to win, you will do it. If you don't, then you will continue to do what some of them have been doing. Dak Prescott.
True that. Before we
I hate the Cowboys, and I do hate the Cowboys.
They hate you too, from what I hear.
That's good.
Before we move on to Rob, let's welcome the Cave Zone male Rob into the fold. He's been all across the land, eating pizza in Piazza. I don't know how to say it, but welcome, brother. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I literally just got in from Italy 3 minutes ago. I pulled up to the house and ran in to get on the cave. I'm 7 hours ahead of y'all on my body clock.
So you might pass out at any moment.
He gonna keel over in a second.
We will forgive you if we do. We have Coach Mike in the cave with us tonight, Mel. I don't know if you heard the question that was on the table. Rob is going to answer it first, but we're basically just talking about the psychology that these first round draft choices, the quarterbacks, the white boys were kind of given the keys to the city. The brothers, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, they're considered these raw talents that would benefit from sitting and watching. And so the question arose, was this another form of subtle racism? And before Rob answers, I got to say this. I was watching Chris Sims the first week, and Chris Sims is the son of Phil Sims, who was I think Phil might have made the Hall of Fame, great quarterback. His son stank. He was not good. He played quarterback. He was lousy. And he was saying how limited Trey Lance's throws were. His catalog of throws, what he can do in terms of moving left to right out of the pocket. And then I watched that boy play, and he was a dog. And he made every possible throw that you could make. And he has so much zip on his passes that those boys he's going to have to learn touch because his passes are so snappy. And I was like, why is he lying on that dude like that? That dude is very versatile. So it made me wonder about it. So Rob, Mel, think about it for a minute. Robert, jump in and answer that question first, and then let Mel get at it.
Well, I think you guys already took everything about it. I mean, you guys are using big terms tonight, and I didn't, with race norming, I had to go look that up.
That was new for me.
Yeah, I had to go Google it, and I'm still trying to digest what Glenn said here, and so I need to do that. But I think that the bigger question is, we shouldn't be surprised. I think Coach Mike said it as well, that we don't have a number of black quarterbacks in the league, period. So how do we change that? How do we make it better for those black quarterbacks, to be successful in the league? But I'll come back to you on that.
We have quite a few. I just named 3 that play at a level 2. Well, one of them was a Super Bowl winner. The other one went to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's the same way racism continues to permeate the culture in any other aspect of life, I would imagine. Mel, you got anything you'd like to share about it?
Yeah, so I'm this is number one, it's an interesting question. Number two, I'm really coming back from a global perspective now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Especially being over in Europe and being in Italy, where in various parts of it there aren't many black people at all, but I did not feel the same racism there that I felt here. I felt the difference in some places, but for the most part, they were people are people type stuff. I think the NFL has always had this, from the way that they do the draft and show off their strongest black players, you know what I mean? As if they were on the auction block, bringing them out, showing weight size, how they can perform. And not that all players don't go through that, but I think the emphasis on the black players is a little bit more. You see that a little bit more. You hear them talk about their strength and agility and what they'll do for the team and all that.
The white players, their intellect is focused on.
Exactly.
Black players, their physical ability is focused on.
Exactly. So I'm not very surprised by any of this. And I was having a conversation with somebody. If all black athletes around the world, period, just decided to walk away from whatever game or sport that they played for one season. It's for one season.
That's what Mike was saying. Yeah.
That would be so interesting.
It's done. Yeah, it's done. It's not. Nobody's even watching. Nobody's even watching white, just like the NBA fallout. So yeah, no surprises, man. Unfortunately, man, we're all at least this week we're all African American, and we know what it looks like, feels like, and we know how it's oftentimes packaged creatively in the hope that we will miss it. So I want to touch, man, something that ironically the same friend of mine posted, man, and this is something that we have danced around on some different levels before, but this post was actually from a woman, so we can't be blamed for the verbiage. Mike, you'll learn that we get kicked out of groups and all kind of stuff for being outspoken men when it comes to relationships and that kind of thing. So Shantae, don't get mad at us and don't make Mike sleep on the couch. But so the post goes like this: only men can love a woman with no money, no house, or no car. Only a man can love a woman and expect nothing in return. Women can't do that. A woman's love comes with conditions. You must have this and that. A man just wants peace. The only thing women love unconditionally is their children. And before you guys address this, I want you to know that this dude who posted this actually got unfriended by a woman for blatantly telling lies on women. So Mel, in an effort to keep you awake, because I know you're tired, I want you to get at it.
I'm just getting a bunch of messages because I didn't turn my phone on over there. So there's a couple of things I want to talk to y'all. Well, not y'all. I sent a couple messages to y'all, but you know.
We know the y'all you didn't want.
Right.
You're supposed to do a shot every time you mention Italy.
Yeah, because you've been missing it a lot. So
you're about 2 shots down now. So you
want the Mel Roberson drinking.
We gotta do a shot every time I say Italy. Was that the?
Yeah.
Oh damn! Let me go get my Italian wine I brought back.
All right.
From where? Where did you bring it back from? Where's it again? Where's it from?
Right, Rob. Where'd you bring that?
From the Tuscany area of Italy. Okay, so to your point, yeah, I think when we talk about generalizations, this is a generalization question. Of course, there will be a few exceptions to the rule. There will be some women out there that can see a man's potential and help to do whatever, but the overwhelming majority are gonna say that I don't want to deal with that when it comes to a man. And I think that there are men that will say, I don't want to deal with that when it comes to a woman. And I think both have the right to say that and feel and want what they want. But to the point of the question, I think that it is very lopsided when it comes to.
It's disproportionate for sure.
Yeah. I'm gonna get my brain chemicals working properly.
I got
to
you.
pull the words out. But yeah, it's definitely disproportionate for sure, because in whatever culture, tradition, or society, when men have been painted as the providers, and that is what we do, when we don't, it's an issue for most people. So I'm with you on that. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Big Rob, before I bring you in and ask you to share, I'm going to ask everybody that's watching to do the live from the cave cast a favor and share the show to your social media right now. We love when you guys help us increase our viewership, and I'm still getting feedback from our 2 shows during the Black Women's Expo, so thank you guys for your support of that as well. Robert Hazard, the lover of life. Do you remember the question, brother?
Well, it's right here on the screen, brother. So I got my glasses on. I can see it. Can a woman love a man unconditionally? I think that.
Well, that's paraphrasing it. Hey, Mike, I had to do that because he will like zone out and be like, "What was the question again?"
See, Mike. See how you calling me out, Mike? Come on, Mike, help me out.
Coming from the person that forgets the question in the middle of the question.
Right.
That's a little rich there, Sean.
Shots fired.
Thank you, my fellow Aries brother. I mean, I think that well, first of all, I think that it can be lopsided, and that's really the challenge. We can love, and it is based off of who are we today? How do we show up? When we've got money, when we're doing the things that we need to do, yeah, they love us. But when we don't have any money, we're done. It's a society that we're living in today that it's a cutoff society. I forgot what it's called, but it's the cancel society. Cancel culture society. You know what's funny about this is I don't know that we talk about enough about what happens when a brother loses his job or something like that happens. He's been making great money before, been providing support for the family, and then something happens.
You cry.
And then
I've lived that thing now.
Yeah, you
don't
know
want
what
to talk about that one. I've lived that one.
Yeah, I mean, so that's the thing. I don't know that I know enough today about unconditional love. So I'm probably not the person there because I go into marriages or relationships about the unconditional piece.
Mm-hmm.
But as we know, relationships today come with conditions.
Glenn, let me ask you this, just flat out. Do you think that's a true statement? Chris Rock said something similar a few years ago during one of his specials. He said, only animals are loved unconditionally or something crazy. Man has to provide something.
Right. Well, I was going to say women don't just love animals unconditionally. They love their shoes, their clothes,
first collection, right?
Their girlfriends.
Yeah.
And
their mama.
Yeah, their mama.
Mm-hmm. Some of them.
Yeah,
some of them hate their mamas. Yeah,
that's a good point. Yeah, so they got a few things they love unconditionally. Men don't hit that list, but yeah, they got a few things. So I don't think that's true. I think there's plenty of things they love unconditionally. We're not one of them. We need to come.
Well, the initial statement was only men can love a woman unconditionally. Really? So that's the original statement. And I think before I ask Mike to carefully walk in here, because I know his wife is in this room and he's too far away to sleep on my muffin couch. It says only men can love a woman unconditionally. And the suggestion is that, men aren't preoccupied with what your paycheck looks like, or maybe what your credit score looks like. They want you to walk into their space and offer them some peace.
And I forgot, Sean, they love Oprah unconditionally.
Oh yeah, Oprah.
Oprah's the only person they can actually have a relationship with without any pressure is Oprah.
Right.
Because if Oprah told them, Oprah had to
Oprah said
down low, and what questions did every man get after that? Are you on the down low?
I think they also love and Lord, I'm really getting ready to get it.
I know.
Because I don't mean no harm. I'm just telling the truth. They also love gay male culture unconditionally.
I thought you were gonna say like Beyonce or something.
No.
Yama or something like that.
Yes, queen, yes. Sisters love that. But Mike, carefully, brother, carefully.
Yes.
Only men can love a woman unconditionally. Is that or is that not true?
Well, I'll say this, man. I'm gonna carefully be myself. So my wife know me, know that man, sometimes like I'm just gonna be what I am. So 99.9 times 5% of the time be what I am. So like I will speak from personal experience, like before my wife, right? So I experienced hetero relationships, right? So in them joints though, I was a couple of particular relationships, but one I know that I decided to just give it all I got. You know, they say once a man decides once that he'll give it all he got. That's it. That's ain't no coming back from that after that. But I would say, man, to answer the question, like the other fella said, it is a lopsided question, but to be biased, man, in one standpoint, I would say, man, it's a true statement that only a man can love a woman unconditionally. Then on the flip side of the coin, though, the word condition, a lot of people put their own definitions to the word condition, right? So for me, like I don't really like look at the conditions of the situation. I didn't look at the condition of a certain person or a certain relationship. I was just like, yo, I'm gonna give you all I got. I'm gonna love you with all I got. Even though if all I got at the time wasn't all that person wanted or needed, but I just felt like, man, at the time that person didn't see like, yo, I'm literally giving you all I got.
So Coach Mike, not to get you in trouble, but I'm gonna give it to you this way. You got a lovely, beautiful wife now. I'm looking for one. You know, I'm hoping to have one day. My question to you is, my question to you is was there a condition? Was there something that Shantae had to be offering you before you were able to give her this transparent, open, limitless love that you've given her? Was there a checklist? You're like, okay, she dope. I'm feeling her, yada yada yada. I'm gonna give her my all. But in order for me to do that, she has to have, or she has to be. What did that exist in that space, or was it just a matter of nope? I'm finna love on her and make her love me back, and we finna ride on off into the sunset. You feel me?
All right, so to answer that particular question, man, like you got your checks and balances, right? You got your typical checks, man. I want somebody that's beautiful, got pretty feet, whatever that is. You know what I'm saying for you, right? So what it was for me,
pretty feet are important.
What it was for me,
extremely.
It was literally the decision and the things that transpired before I met Shantae. So like before I met Shantae, man, I had to get myself together. I had to like get Mike together. So I spent some time, man, going through counseling, going through grief counseling about things in life. And grief is not just coming when you lose a loved one or a family member or something, right? Grief comes in different forms. So going through just restoration of myself personally. So I went through that. And when I got through that, man, I decided when I meet the one, and I know this is the one this time, shameless plug, if you go to YouTube, go to Untold Emotions, click on that joint, you'll find a 10-minute video about my life, not my life in entirety, but like a lot of things about me in regards to relationship, even fatherhood, even like the street life of me. But however, man, I decided that I was straight, I was whole. A lot of times people be like, man, it's 50-50 in relationships. I was like, no, not for me. I need to be a whole person. I need to be a whole man. I need to make sure that like I got my stuff together, myself together. I need to make sure that I'm straight, man. So I did that. I had my fun, had a whole lot of fun. But when I met Shantae, I was like, yo, this is it. This is it. And literally the two things that I really wanted, because again, the basic stuff, she got pretty feet. She's a beautiful woman. She's cool, she's dope. But it was really, the first thing was, man, can she be 100% transparent with me? That was the first thing. Like, can you be 100% transparent? Like, I ain't talking like, no, man, this is my life. This is what I've been through in life, or these are my struggles. I'm talking about the stuff that you don't even want God to know. Can you be 100% transparent with me? Ooh. And man, she was definitely that. Like, I ain't have to question, and still don't have to question stuff to this day. That was number one. Then number two was, it's beyond trust for me, right? So, like, we trust people, man, men, we trust women. We've been in relationships or whatever. We trust somebody until something happened or until whatever. And for me, it's like, it's beyond trust. I don't want to know if I could just trust her. I want to know if I could count on her. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to know, like, man, if I can count on her, and I know that it was going to be a series of events in life, doing life together, going tell that tale, but I needed to know that though. When I knew that I could trust her, and I knew that I could go deeper and count on her, and I could count on her, I was like, yo, this is it. She don't have to, man, I don't care about how much money she made coming into this thing. Man, she made more money than me. You know, no, that didn't matter. She didn't even judge me for that. You know what I'm saying? Previous relationship, I've been judged for not having money, whatever case may be. However, man, I just definitely wanted to know if I can count on her for me now, like count that, like, yo, at the end of the day, like, she has my 100% best effort and interest at heart. So those were the two things, man. Like, man, yo, like, man, is she going to be transparent, and can I count on her? And when those two came, like, to pass or to fruition, or when God showed me, whatever the case may be, like, man, I was like, yo, I'm locking this down. I'm locking this down right away. Because
so that becomes my question, Big Mike, and you answered it. So now I need to ask these four cats the question, with these three cats, and then I'll answer myself. What is that one thing? Like Mike just talked about, the one thing, like
pretty feet.
No, what pretty feet was a 1A.
That's all I heard was pretty feet. That's all I got.
I'm thinking about the pretty feet too.
Yeah, pretty feet was all we got.
1A. That was like a, you know.
She wears sandals good.
Right.
Right, polished toes.
So Robert, since you jumped in there, I'm gonna get you first. What's that one thing? And we all know at our core, you know, there's more than one thing, but there's got to be one thing that takes priority in that space, in your mate or your potential mate, or as you seek a mate. Robert, you first. What's at the top of the list? Let's do it that way. What's at the top of the list? We know transparency is one, and pretty feet is two for Coach Mike. But for you, Robert, what's one?
Professionalism. And what I mean by professionalism, you know, we have a culture today where, you know, people, nothing wrong with the ladies wearing the bonnets and what have you, but I don't want you to represent me.
There is something wrong with that, Rob.
Well, I know, but I just, you know, I'm trying to be, you know, good, but, you know, I want my partner to show up the way that I would show up in situations, Sean. So, I mean, if you're going to represent me at, you know, at a school function and things like that, I want you to be professional. I want integrity. And those are things I want. You know, Mike said pretty feet, but I want pretty teeth. I want that pretty smile. You know, I want that nice ass. You know, so,
what
you know.
What did you just say? I won't say whose name it is. I won't say the person's name, but somebody said, "Hey, we ugly feet women need love." Too.
Yeah,
you know,
I think you have said more than enough, Glenn. I'll ask you to answer that question.
I'm hella conditional. As a matter of fact, I change my terms and conditions every couple of years, like a credit card company. So I need to see us in you. I need to be able to look at you and be like, wow, she's something else. I need to be able to be looking across the room and have somebody else tell me you're something else too. I need somebody to say, you need to hold on to her. Like, I already know that, but I just want you to acknowledge it too. I want somebody that is going to bring out the best in me when the best in me isn't what I'm bringing out of myself. So I need you to see me at my best when I'm at my worst. And I'm not at my worst too much, so don't get it wrong. I'm going to be a great partner now. Hold on. Hold that thought for a minute. Because I'm going to bring my best to the table. But, you know, there are days that we all have where we're not, you know, feeling that, you know, number one. And I need somebody to see me then, just like they see me when I'm shining.
Male Rob,
and pretty feet. And pretty
popper. Our own resident peck popper. What's number one, baby? What's
Nah, man, I ain't popping packs. I ate too much, man. I'm off. I gotta get back down.
A week of working out and eating right, and next Thursday you'll be
down to my body weight, man. By the end of the trip, I'm taking pictures like I can't show this angle. Golly, where that come from? So let me backtrack a little bit and then give you this answer. I honestly don't think, with the exception of our love of children, that when it comes to mates, that there is necessarily a such thing as unconditional love. In the sense that unconditional love, simply put, is love without strings attached. It's love you offer freely. You don't base it on what someone does for you in return. You simply love them and want nothing more than their happiness. This type of love is sometimes called compassionate or agape love. Might sound somewhat familiar. So that being considered, I don't think men love women unconditionally. We just don't. You got to be giving up. It's got to be something I'm getting in return.
The conditions are just different. The conditions are just different.
But it's not unconditional.
Right.
There has to be reciprocity. You know what I mean? There has to be.
I wouldn't say reciprocity, but there has to be something coming back in return. I feel.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to equate to money or financial, whatever. You know, because there could be a primary breadwinner and then a, you know, whatever. But she got to be giving me something to make me want to love her and keep her around.
And it doesn't have to be.
Absolutely.
Remember last week we talked about the $4,000 trip and the $200 dinner, and if that was an equal sacrifice, everybody that was on with us thought that was fair. So I 100% get you. I'm gonna redirect you though. I want to know what your number one is. What's at the top of your list for your potential?
I don't have a number one. I have a several. I gotta
prioritize any one of them.
Yeah, nah. I mean, not to the point where it's number one. Because if I have loyalty but I don't have affection, then I'm missing that.
Yeah.
Just because you're loyal and you're not, and if you're not affectionate, or if you're affectionate but you're not loyal, you know what I mean? Then I'm missing that. So it's like asking me, well, can you have a car that just has an engine but it doesn't have a motor or a brake system or whatever? It takes all of these things together to make the car function properly. And so I need a proper functioning person and relationship. So I can't prioritize. No,
I agree with Mel for a change.
Yeah.
Because
Me too.
It's like
here's how I hear that question. I don't think that eliminates the ability to prioritize one over the other when we know we need them all. So say, for example, there are 5 things in males must have kitty. I still think that it's possible for me. Now for me, I think it's possible to rank those 5. That's just for me. That doesn't mean that one of them can be missing. But if I had to choose between one or the other, I might be able to do that. That's kind of the way I see it. Let's switch gears, man, and talk about something, man. I try to be progressive and open-minded and non-judgmental and all of that, man. But I don't know if y'all saw the last picture of Lil Nas X. I don't know what's going on there, man. I feel like the dude, man, backdoor hip hop. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he snuck into hip hop, not really. You know, he was showing his representative.
Boy, when you said backdoor.
Yeah, I guess that was poor choice.
That was kind of
Yeah, that says it all.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen this picture, there's a picture of him that looks like he's pregnant. He has a naked belly that actually looks like a woman's breast to me. I don't know, but it's a very it's a bizarre picture. And so, you know,
he's emulating being pregnant.
Yeah, he's emulating being pregnant. But a lot of people have said that the belly looks more like a boob than a belly. That might have just been a bad retouching job, you know, on the graphic designer's part. But yeah, man, I don't know what's going on with that, man. And I have family members that are part of the LGBTQ community. I consider myself an ally. I'm always trying to figure out how to be a better ally. But something about that, man, is just I don't know what that brother's doing. I don't know if he's doing too much. I don't know if it's just me. But if any of you guys have any thoughts about it, I would love to hear it, because I haven't found any peace with what's going on with that dude.
I think he's an exhibitionist. I don't think it has anything to do with him being gay. I think he's an exhibitionist, and he's going to shock you. He's like Madonna was in like the late 80s, early 90s. He's going to do whatever he can to get the most publicity and shock you the most. And
I think the difference, though, Glenn, with that is Madonna was still a relevant music artist, though.
Right.
I mean, she was a music artist with a shocking personality. In my opinion.
But these days, you don't have to be relevant in music to be relevant in culture, in social media, in publicity. It's a different type of publicity that you get now for being an artist. It's a different type of art now. It's not just about your music anymore.
Yeah. I think he became known for something, got in, made a couple of hit songs, and then wanted to leverage that in other areas, you know, which is what he's doing, I guess.
So to that, and again, you know, I fancy myself an ally, but I'm still a man, and I respect and appreciate what men historically have represented. There's this big conversation about the feminization of men, specifically Black men. I see Big Mike nodding. I mean, do you have anything that you'd be willing to say in regard to that? Because sometimes I think that it exists. I don't, and that's not to say that I don't see gay men of other cultures, but the way that they are celebrated and put on a pedestal, and the process that goes into celebrating them when they are Black seems decidedly different. It's almost like if you remember back when the OJ trial was going on, and they were like, okay, they want to make OJ the face of domestic violence because he's this black man, this black athlete. I often feel like, you know, the world or the powers that be are trying to make black men the face of black gay femininity or whatever. They're specifically using black men for that space. And I could be hypersensitive because I'm a black man, but I'd be interested to know what you guys. What's the guy's name that's in the Cinderella movie now? Tony something, or you know, the guy, he's known for going to like the Met Gala and having these
Billy Porter.
Billy Porter, you know, like,
oh God, yeah,
you know, something his vibe, you know. And I'm sorry, I just feel like they really push it when it's us, you know, when it's black men. So do you think, and Mike, I'm gonna ask you this first, do you think that there is a conscious demasculization, if that's a word, or a conscious feminization of black men in this culture in our world right now? Is that an intentional thing that's happening?
Man, yeah. I would say, to the little Nas situation, man, everybody got some kind of something, right? So we've seen so many artists, man, they get real popping, and then especially black artists, black men, and then it seems like they just go completely left. And we all know, like, there's some other power, some other way that's controlling something. There's another conversation. I don't know if it's contractual conversation or whatever, to like say, hey, we gotta stop you, you know, or you gotta dance to the music we play, whatever that looks like, or you gotta scratch to our itches. But I think that when people display themselves in ways, it's really, man, a lot of people they're crying out for help, man. And when they have a platform, that their cries are different, and we, as the world, get to see the cry, and it becomes a trend. So it becomes a trend and not a cry. So like a lot of people, like we're doing now, we'll talk about it. It'll be on social media. It'll be on the next radio station. It's the trend, but it's got to go deeper than that. It's the cry from the person. From the person now, it's the cry for help. Whatever help that they're looking for is some kind of cry for help, attention, fix me, save me, do something for, I need whatever it is that they're looking for. That's one thing. The other thing is that, man, I agree. The answer is yes. I do think that, man, black men are definitely downgraded, man, demasculated, definitely, man, like brought to a light to where it's not the greatest light ever. But if we take it back, man, go back to slavery, when they would want to destroy the family, or they want to show that they have the power over the family, they take the head of the family and they do whatever it is that they want to do to the head. And because of that, it shows that, man, if I can take out the head, then, man, I definitely gonna defeat the body, definitely defeat the family. And for black men, man, for so long, we're being pulled in several different directions, several different angles, several different, man, just stuff that like that represent us in a way that's not the greatest. And that's coming from somebody that's, man, my organization, we serve over 200 black boys, man, through multiple programs. And it's like, if I see stuff like that, I just looked up the pictures. My first time hearing about it, really. And I looked it up, I was like, okay, that's interesting. So like, what do I have a black son. So it's like, man, like as a black man, I have to teach my black boys that, hey, number one, you 100% black. And I don't know how candid we could be, but you 100% black, and the world don't give a damn. So you have to go 125% and be Superman to be of substance, not for the world, but for your family, for your legacy, for your children's children. So if I'm sitting back and I know how to stop this, whatever, if I can stop you by just, man, waving money at you and buying you out, or, man, put you in a situation where I completely, man, desensitize your character, you know what I'm saying, in general, in front of your family, in front of your community, I would do that. That's what I'm thinking, the thought process behind whoever is behind whatever. But, man, it's like black men, we are very strong. We are very strong, but, man, we are positioned so weak. We are positioned so weak. And the crazy thing about it, there's an experiment somebody did, man. They took a group of black kids and they did cutters. And they said, man, hey, what does this cutter mean? And when they had to cut a white, They said power. The first thing they said was power. And then they had to cut a black. Man, some people said doom. Some people said darkness. Some people said, man, ugly. But like black is beautiful. Black is forceful. Black is strong. But man, we don't really want to see that. Like, man, with our like society. When I say we, the society don't want to see the black man in his rightful position, taking his rightful places. That's the reason why, man, honestly, like a lot of systems are failing. School systems in our black community, church in our black community, businesses in our black community are not thriving. We failing because, man, the black, and I'm not saying this to like knock out our black women, but the black man is not taking his post, and we can't take our post when we got our hands tied behind our back.
Well, I think here's the deal, Mike. Here's the deal, Mike. I think that, and it's so layered. I think that we might not look at the situation of Lil Nas X because he's an openly gay man and not associated with the attack on the black family. But the reality is he is still a black man. And so the goal has always been, like you said, all the way back to slavery when they would break the buck in front of his wife. The goal has always been the destruction of the black family. So whether or not Nas X sees himself in that same space, he can still be utilized and weaponized in that same space, even though he sees himself as a gay man who might not fit into the traditional structure of the black family. He's still a black man, and I think he can still be used in that same way to carry out the attack that's on the black family. We got about 8 minutes, man. It goes fast. Mel, did you want to touch that before we got off of it? I want to touch on something else, man. I want to lighten our spirits a little bit before we get out of here since we got so heavy.
Nah, I ain't gotta touch this one. I think they did a good job.
This ain't super heavy, but it's funny because me and one of the producers, Keisha Rose, the lovely Keisha Rose, the hat-wearing, long-legged Keisha Rose, was sharing a meme with me, and I thought it was fascinating. This is what I love about just the lens of life that we have. She saw this quote and she heard a totally different thing than I did. And the quote goes like this: "Honey, you deserve a man who does not mind hurting other women's feelings to protect yours." And I can't remember exactly the framework that Keisha put it in, but I knew that it was not the framework that I digested it in. And so before I ask you guys to chime in, I will share the way I interpreted it first. And that was, honey, you deserve a man who will check these other hoes about you when they trying to get at him. Right. That was what I heard. Me and my friend Serena, we have a little culture in our friendship. She said, I know what you said, but what I heard was, and so that's what I heard. And I try, you guys know, I try to not do the tit for tat thing, the vice versa thing. But I did automatically do that because I think men need women that'll do that same thing, because in the reality, it's the men that are pursuing the women. And so our women have to be even more committed to stiff arming those that are pursuing them once they're locked in and committed to their man. I think a lot of women kind of can, take that as a cop out, because it's so common. But to me, there's nothing that turns me on more than a woman that lets a man know, no, I'm not, I'm good. I appreciate your attention, but I'm good. And I'm spoken for, and I'm spoken for loudly and clearly, and I don't need your attention. Robert, how do you perceive that quote? Honey, you deserve a man who does not mind hurting other women's feelings to protect yours.
You hit it, brother. You answered the question. I mean, we would love to have a woman that says, I got you. And for us as men saying, I got you, and I don't care what this woman is bringing to me. I'm good. I've got a beautiful woman who supports me, et cetera. And I don't need any other, attention from somebody else.
I appreciate your feeling me. You're right.
Yeah. But I mean, we're supposed to be protectors anyway, Sean. So, right. I mean, we have to step up and say that we're protectors and quiet the noise of the other women that are, because there's always going to be some women that are coming at us, right? Because we're good looking men.
But Robert, because we're protectors, does that mean that we don't need protection?
Absolutely, we need protection. That's why we talk about it. I missed my therapy call today, but
I was busy, brother. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's the blind leading the blind for sure.
But I mean, and clear. Of course, we need our women to back us. When we need it. Women, you already said it, but I think it's important if we set it up right. The woman that we have chosen, she will fight off all the other guys too, because she's sitting there saying, Robert is my man. I'm happy with him. And that's really what we need, man.
Glenn, don't be scared. Glenn, don't be scared. Don't be scared.
I ain't scared at all.
See you sweating.
Every time you make a choice with a woman or whatever in your life, men, I'm talking about men, there's a seismic shift in what happens in the rest of your life. There's a ripple effect to that. So you choose a certain woman, you're going to have a certain number of women that fall off the face of the earth for you. Mm-hmm. You make a choice about what you're going to do. And that could be, I don't want to date anybody, or I don't want to, I'm not seeing anybody right now. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a number of women fall out. You make the choice. Men control that. They make the choice, and there's that seismic shift that happens. You just have to decide to make the choice, like Robert said.
Before we get out of here, man, there's another seismic shift that happens, and that is, I don't care whether you're a man or woman. The minute you decide that you're with somebody, all the people that never spoke up decide to come and tell you.
Yes.
They were laying and wait. Laying and wait, and they was just waiting for their shot.
Right.
they said, oh, look.
I told Sanaa Lathan, it's over, girl. Stop it. Just stop calling me. Just lose my number.
Hey, look.
Damn, this is embarrassing.
God ever give me mine, I'm gonna be like, nope, don't even try it. You had the whole pandemic, and you ain't saying nothing. You had the whole pandemic.
I hear Janet Jackson songs all the time now since I let her go. Since my heart freed her.
Hey man,
I freed myself.
Whatever. Yeah, let's
found myself.
So check this out. Big Mike, before when we get out here, don't leave. Hang out. We're gonna meet up in the green room, man, after the show. Everybody watching, we thank you so much as usual for having our back and rocking with us more than a year into Live from the Cave. We're having an awesome time. We're having an even greater time because you guys tune in every Thursday night now and rock with us. Mel, Rob, welcome back from Italy. Hey man, you guys are my guys. Mike, you're an awesome presence tonight, man. I can already say that they're going to be looking to have you back, and I hope that you can make some time for us. Good luck with all you're doing down in Memphis, man. And shout out to my family that's down there. Hey, man, until next week. It's been awesome. This has been Live from the Cave.
Camped out at home for COVID? Join us, Indie TV, where you will see the talk shows, movies, drama, action, and comedy. Be the first and see it first. Sign up now for free at Indie TV.